Iron City built. It's time for the Steel City Nation podcast. Here's your host, Mark Maradei.
I'll mute myself so I don't sound like.
Oh, you can do what you need to do. Hey, Steel City Nation, what's going on? Happy New Year, 2021. Out with the old, in with the new. Remember, the Steelers lost 3 games back in 2020. 2021 is going to be brand new. We're feeling it. Good things going on there. Who knows what's going to happen though? It's going to be a great week of football coming up though. Wildcard games. You got KC with a bye, Green Bay with a bye. It's going to be interesting to watch this stuff this weekend. There's some really good games, and I love the way the league has spaced them out. I think that they thought the highest rated games they put on in the 8:15 slot, the Steelers being the last slot out there on Sunday night, which means I'll either get up in a really good mood Monday and be ready to teach my ass off, or I'm gonna be really pissed off and not be able to fall asleep. So I don't know. They'll dictate to me. So I got my barbershop crew back to do a little barbershop talk, and we've added a new cat to the mix. T-Sizzle. What's going on, Terry Young? How are you?
Fantastic.
Great. Thanks for joining us this week. As always, KWATT's back in the fold here. We missed him last time when we were with the Sports Podium podcast, and my regular barbershop mate, Rashene, the real deal Hill, back for more. He got what's on there? Willie Stargell, Rennie Stennett. Who you got on there?
Maradei.
Oh, it's a Marte Partey. When I see number 6 for the Pirates, I'm thinking Rennie Stennett. Might be before for a lot of our listeners' times. Rennie Stennett was a beast. He had a 6-8 game back in the day for the Pittsburgh Pirates. That was back when they were relevant, back in like the 70s and in early 80s and stuff like that. Now they ain't on relevancy. All right, so men, let's get after this right away. Let's break down that game just a little bit from yesterday. In my opinion, I thought they came out with the game plan, and I started seeing some execution. They did something yesterday that they had not done in the weeks before, and that was move the ball down the field. They may not have scored, but they did start moving the ball down the field effectively. Rashene, why do you think that happened under Mason Rudolph, and it does not happen under Ben?
Hey, Rudolph, he likes to sling the ball downfield. He did that at Oklahoma State. I don't know if I don't know what that was about yesterday. I did like it though. I loved it. He got Claypool back into the action. He used all the receivers. He tried to use Washington, but you know how that goes. But
They saw something in that number 39 on the left side. They exposed him for the Browns. They went after him pretty hard.
I'm pretty sure he was a third teamer though.
Well,
because Denzel Ward.
That's what they saw.
And Ward's backup were both out. In fact, I was listening to Sports Talk today to get some insight heading into the playoff game this weekend, and they're not sure if Ward's going to even be back for this weekend. They're not sure. Cleveland had a bunch of guys out. They're not exactly sure who's going to come off the COVID list for them. And to be quite honest with you, who knows who's going to come off the COVID list for the Steelers? We don't know if Ebron has COVID or if he was just by contact. We just know Hayden at this point. So, KWATT, what'd you think of that first quarter, the development of it? I mean, I know you struggled a little bit, but did you read it?
Yeah, well, the first quarter, and I might go off on a tangent a little bit here, but it's a problem for us. And I'm not quite sure what the deal is, but the first series on offense, the first series on defense, it's a concern because you can't go into a playoff game trying to feel what the other team is doing. It could be too late. Every down matters in the playoffs. Everything's going to be faster. Everybody's going to have the right game plan for the Steelers at this point, especially on the first series. We do the same thing. That is a concern. There was something that I did. I saw it yesterday, and I'll get to it a little bit later, but I hope they keep it in.
Okay. And I think I know what you're going to talk about. No, I'm good with that. The run game yesterday, it got legs. I thought he got legs a little bit. It was kind of weird too to me because Pouncey wasn't there to do the traffic control up front. And we talked about this. I believe it was the last time we had our get together. And usually Pouncey's the guy who does some controlling up front. You think there's something to the fact that Pouncey wasn't there and they were able to get after it a little bit? T-Sizzle, what do you think?
Well, I think because they had McDonald in there a lot more. They were releasing Ebron out for the pass. They had him in helping and blocking and getting to the next level. They had help. I don't know why they're not using McDonald more and more.
Here.
I think that's pretty clear cut right there.
I don't want Ebron to have COVID, but I wouldn't mind. I like McDonald. I really do. I don't know why we're not giving the ball to McDonald.
Ebron's a receiver.
Go ahead, Watson. Go ahead.
Look, this is what I mean. I see what you guys are saying. Absolutely. On the rundowns,
He's a man.
he can definitely be a part of the run game to help it out. There's no question about it. Ebron is not going to help you blocking. No, it's not going to happen. But what he gives you in the passing game, you can't. It's a mismatch, and you have to have him in there. But what I would like to see them do is to have them both in there at the same time, because guess what they both can do? They both can catch the ball.
Yeah.
That's a package that we haven't even used yet.
Okay, I like that.
I like to see it.
I mean, I get the whole McDonald thing blocking. I get the whole McDonald thing catching the ball and running. But if Ebron's not going to block and you're going to come out and define the block, bring Gerald Hawkins out, make him a tackle, make him a tight end eligible, double it up, double tights, just come at him. Double tights and come at him.
I got a problem with that Ebron McDonald thing because, I mean, I'm not a defensive genius, but I know that if you bring Ebron out, that there's more of a chance you're passing. And then when you roll McDonald out, you're going to run. So this is the NFL. This ain't Pee-wee. Go ahead, Watson.
Now, with what you just said, it doesn't mean you can't run the ball when he's in there, because you can. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's got to be by design to run the right play. That's all. But it can be done in order to keep the defense off balance.
Keep in mind that part of the reason Ebron is always shuffled off is, number one, he's kind of a loudmouth in a locker room, apparently. And the other thing is he doesn't like to block. I'll never forget when we opened up camp and Ebron said, he's doing blocking drills. He never died. I don't know how to block. Basically, he said, I don't know how to block. Now, what tight end does not know how to block? I mean, seriously. But what Watson's saying, and I agree with what he's saying, is, okay, maybe we do a tackle over on Ebron's side and run it up underneath there. Maybe we counter back to Ebron's side. We can run a couple his way, take a loss, recognize we might get a yard, might not get anything out of it. But you got to show that truthfulness, Rashene. You cannot just say, okay, he's coming in for pass, he's coming in for the blocking. You got to be creative. That's where I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes in with Fichtner. It's the fact that people don't understand that he is not creative. Now, in terms of creativity, we're going to go with what Watson said in a little bit, but he did show some creativity yesterday, and there was a ton of creativity early on in the season. I think Matt Canada brought some of that college creativity with him, and for some reason, somebody kind of tamed Canada down. For some ungodly reason, they tamed him down. But he was invoking some creativity into that offense that we hadn't seen in a while. Since Mike Mularkey or Wiesenhunt, those guys always had something going on. And going back to the running game, I think I texted this to Rashene, or maybe I texted it to our group. Why does Connor not square his shoulders up and get the extra yard? Okay, yeah. Why do we have to try and dance? He's not a dancer. Okay, he's not going to be on Dancing for the Stars or whatever that's called. He ain't doing that. Stop it. You ain't Juju. You're not on TikTok. Stop it. Square him up. Get the yard. That one first down, nice play, got into the open field, saw tacklers coming. He decides he wants to dance, so he doesn't get the first down. I don't get that. The other piece of it is McFarland has no vision. He has no vision.
None of them do.
You know, I mean, it's unbelievable that he is so fast. And you watch tape on him, and you look at when he played at Maryland.
Well, there's no vision. They're not getting any pressure. They're not getting any push up front either. You know, so there's your vision problem.
Oh, they were getting some push up front yesterday. I saw McFarland get through the line of
Better.
scrimmage. You know, and that's with, you know, J.C. Hassenauer. Okay. By the way, did you guys hear today that Kevin Dotson was named, you know, whatever, rookie lineman of the year, one of the 5 rookie linemen of the year? You know, so you might as well go ahead and pencil him in at that left guard for next year and several years to come. Rashene, you got something to say about that?
Can I mention something with the running backs?
Yeah, go ahead. Uh-oh. Come on, KWATT.
I open holes that it's almost frustrating to watch them run the ball. It's frustrating. I don't know if, you know, if somebody is saying something to these guys, or they watching film when they don't, but when they head to the line, if you've ever looked at them, their head is down.
Yeah, I agree.
When your head is down, your feet should be moving, and then you slide to the hole. Because he turns one way, there it is.
Yeah.
But it's about keeping your head up, keeping your feet moving, and you bounce. And that's what, and I know you guys are going to hate me for saying this, but Le'Veon Bell did it very well.
Excellent.
He didn't go up there too fast, but he could see the hole. And when he saw it, it was to get off and get there. We don't have that. Yes, and that's what's missing. They don't hit it.
Yeah, he was a powerful runner. I also,
yeah,
you know, I think
that's what's causing the problem. And I don't know where.
I think Benny Snell is a little light in the ass, to be honest with you guys. I don't think he carries enough weight once he gets downhill in that hole.
I actually like him out of all of the running backs. I actually like him better. He does probably have the best vision out of them. It's not the best, but he probably has the best as far as seeing the hole. At least he gets there, but he doesn't have that explosion that you need once you get through the hole.
He's not fast at all.
Like you need the 3 of them, put them together. You know.
So that's definitely. Go ahead, Rashene.
Let's get Ike Redmond back, baby.
I think that you're definitely going to have to look for a back in some way, shape, or form, whether it's somebody's number 2 who's getting cut loose because of money, whether it's a back in the draft at later rounds. You're going to have to be looking for that, because I honestly, the only way I'm bringing Connor back is if I'm cutting 1 or 2 of those other guys loose and Connor takes a different role. You know, Jalen Samuels to me is an enigma. He doesn't bring what he possibly could to the game. He's supposed to be such a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He wasn't even dressed yesterday. Like, I didn't see him in the game at all. I didn't see him on special teams at all.
I didn't either.
You know, what I did like about him, and I think I talked with KWATT about this, what I did like about having him dressed, though, is you could throw that element of Wildcard in there with him. You know, with the Wildcat, I mean, and throwing that element out there, that makes a difference in the game. You're going to have to be creative like that with the running game. You're just going to have to be. And he just, I don't know. So let's go to Cleveland now. But why did they abandon the run? Why would you ever abandon the run on your opening drive? 6 plays, 85 yards. You know, did they want to keep it contained so that this week they can expose the Steelers' run game? I don't think you can expose the front.
You're not going to expose them.
I don't think you can do it. If they can shut Henry down, you know, you're getting Rob Spillane back this week. You're getting, I know, right?
I was confused. They had 47 yards rushing, that one rush by Chubb. That's half of what they had. They ended up with 108 yards rushing for the game.
Yeah, guess where the rest of that rushing came from?
Baker Mayfield.
He scrambled. He had 2 scrambles. That one
scramble for like 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe they were trying to get some practice passing. Who knows?
They got nervous.
They got nervous?
They got nervous. They really did. I mean, and when you're, and I'm putting this on the coach. He you know how sometimes you get excited, but at the same time you're nervous. You ever had that feel? And then you start calling stuff that don't make sense. Get out of the game plan. They got out of the game plan. They really did. And that allowed us really to stay in the game. Because if they would have kept running the ball like that, we didn't have an answer for it. We had no answer for it.
Eventually, the Steelers would have got beat up. I mean, Henry Mondo had a hell of a lot of snaps at that tackle up front. Carlos Davis, Bugs. Those guys had a ton of snaps. They held it down. Although two had played a lot. I read where on the final touchdown that Cleveland scored, the only guy on the field that was a starter was Minka. He was the only guy out there that was a regular starter for the Steelers. What's that tell you? You know, that was that a third down play? That was a third down play. You know, because they stopped them the first two times. So you might be right there, Watson. You might be right there. It's going to be interesting to see how they approach defensively the Steelers this week with some of these injuries, to be honest with you. And if they don't get all their guys back, I mean, that's going to be impactful not having Denzel Ward out there, even if your number 2 comes back, because he's still, you know. Right. Hey, did you guys know that Juju had 97 catches on the season?
Yeah. I thought he hit 100.
No, 97. It said, I read this morning. And he had 9 touchdowns.
Yeah.
9 touchdowns. He had a hell of a year.
Yes, he did.
To be honest with you.
I told you can't let that kid go. I don't care what anybody, can't let him go.
7 catches for 500 yards.
Say that again.
But he's playing in the slot. You don't ask your slot to do, you know, that's his job.
And then you got to take into consideration he's playing with some young guys out there too. Mm-hmm. You know, he's the elder statesman. He's playing with some young guys. He's playing with some guys.
24.
You know, yeah. I mean, Claypool's just a different character. There are some elements to his game that he needs to improve on, but that's going to come with experience. But I think I wrote it down somewhere. Claypool does one of 2 things, actually one of 3 things. He either drops the ball, makes a difficult, long, ridiculous catch, or he draws a penalty. He's good at drawing those penalties. The one he caught that touchdown pass yesterday was an absolute ridiculous catch, but he was interfered with.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a great way. He uses his body very well, boxes out, mans up. He'd be great. I'm surprised he didn't go ball. You know, he posts and everything. He's wonderful.
I'd like to see him get a little more weight on his bones, though, because I think he can. I was watching A.J. Brown last night, and I saw him make that catch at the end of the game. And you guys, Young, I know you watched it. That was just a ridiculous. And he's got that same. I kind of feel like Claypool has that same makeup, that big body, can run past guys.
Metcalf,
yeah. Oh my, that dude's he's a freak.
They're ripped.
Freak. You know, I can't imagine tackling him as a defensive back. So Mayfield, does he scare anyone? He was pressured by reserves yesterday, guys. The Steelers had what, 3 sacks yesterday?
I believe it was 4.
4. They ended up with
4.
Okay. Yep. So does Mayfield scare you? Do you think Baker Mayfield could come out with under 2 minutes left in the game on Sunday night and down by 4 points and lead them down the field to beat the Steelers? Do you think he has that cosmetic makeup? Because I've seen him do it against other
players out there.
Right. I mean, that pass rush looked so much different yesterday than it's going to look Sunday night. Trust me. That goes back to that question you posed that we'll talk about. That goes back to that question.
It'll be a lot faster. It'll be a lot more aggressive. But to get 4 sacks with your backups, that's impressive. Holding him to 196 yards, that's impressive. Putting the ball in his hand, and again, going back, I don't understand why they abandoned the rush. But to put the ball in his hand with 2 minutes to go, I wouldn't bet on that.
You know, I mean, I don't want to become overly confident, but I do think they need to go out and resoundingly go after them right out of the gates. I agree with KWATT. I think they just need to make a statement, grab the ball, opening drive, march down the field, at least get 3 and come back out on defense and just.
And can we go no huddle right at the beginning of the game, please? I'm just saying, just go no huddle right at the beginning. Just do it. It don't matter. Just do it.
What's funny to me
I know
is
what the results are going to be if we don't.
what's funny to me is Ben almost seems kind of like a kid, oppositional defiant. Yeah, I'll run your plays. I'm going to do it. I'm going to run them, sure. And we don't execute them, and we don't execute them. And Ben's hoping we just don't get that far behind so he can come out and do his thing. He really, as I watch him, he never shows that emotion or anything. He's like, yeah, sure. I'll throw your quick slants 2 yards off the. I think they're going to need to do more of that in order to be successful this week. And if they get through this week, whether they play the Titans or the Bills, it doesn't matter. They're going to need to do the same thing. I don't think they were out of the Bills game until the very end. I think when Ben threw that pick six, it was instrumental, but I think that they definitely match up very well with the Bills. I'm not, from that perspective, not looking ahead, but I'm not like, oh, we're going to play the Bills. Ooh, I don't feel that way about Kansas City, to be honest with you. And I know they're phenomenal. So I don't know if you guys caught this, heard this or whatever, but did you know that Carlos Davis and Isaiah Buggs got into a fight on the sidelines?
Yes.
I saw the little bits of it, but I have no idea what that was even over. No clue.
And then Juju at some point went at Tomlin and was barking at somebody else. Must have been something going on somewhere along the line that got them kind of edgy yesterday. I hope that's a positive energy that carries over into this week. But what I saw the Buggs thing on tape, I looked at it and Buggs smacked Davis and Davis went after him. And you have Mondo grabbing Davis and Wormley.
Like Rex Ryan, what's his name all over. I was like, you're on the same team going for a win here. They didn't put anything out there why they went at it, but people were speculating about Tom playing into Juju because they had to go for two. If it was that big of an issue, call a timeout. You had 3 left. They could have drew something up better than what they end up doing. But I think they're making something out of nothing with the Juju Tomlin thing.
Well, I've always felt that Pittsburgh media likes to stir the pot. I mean, I know every media does, but for some reason, Pittsburgh media likes to stir the pot even more to kind of add that controversy to what's going on in Pittsburgh, whether it's not so much the Pirates, but, with the Steelers and Penguins a lot. Yeah.
He shut his mouth whole year. Juju hasn't said one word all year, and for them to say that he was going at Tomlin, I think that's ridiculous. He has, minimal catches. He's supposed to be the number 1 guy. He's been nothing but a true teammate. And like you said, the leader of the receiver corps, he's 24. He's young. He's going to be immature and make stupid, do stupid things. But he's doing, I think, a good job.
Yeah, I agree.
We're going to be sorry. We're going to be sorry if we lose him.
I think Buggs and Davis were probably arguing over reps, man. Who was going to go in? That's the only thing you can be fighting about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was positive energy. I'm going to be honest with you. I think it was complete positive energy. I don't sense that they would let that happen in that locker room to the degree that it would carry on to the field if there was something really underlying on that team, especially after everything they went through with Antonio Brown and in essence, Le'Veon Bell, who really didn't cause an issue in the locker room other than the fact that he was a shitbird and didn't want to show up. I mean,
and also remember too, Cam Hayward was not even there yesterday.
Right.
So, a lot of that would have been calmed down especially with the D-line through him.
Yeah.
Ben was not there. So none of those big time leaders, they weren't there. So, right. A lot of that, I'm sure probably goes through them. So it wasn't controlled in that sense,
So we have some really heated debates about the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh amongst us, and whether it's every day we're doing it or whether it's during a game. Rashene, grade Mason's efforts yesterday, but because listen, before you even go there, I thought he threw the ball well downfield, which was said early on. He had 315 passing yards. He had 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. And if you saw the end of the INT, which I think I tweeted out to you guys, he got smacked in the head and they never called anything. Okay. So, grade his effort.
B+. B plus.
Okay. What'd you like about it?
The fact that he was going vertical. He didn't hesitate to do that. Only really bad mark he had was the interception. Like you said, he was getting hit in the face when it came. I mean, to do that, I mean, do we didn't even have? Do we have our starting offensive line out there yesterday?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, to do that against that was like their A team basically. I mean, I don't know if he's the guy for the future. Maybe he can go to 3 if we can get a number 2. But I wasn't upset with that yesterday. I wasn't.
T-Sizzle.
Not saying I would ever do this, but I like to mix up putting Dobbs in there, giving a little creativity, like do something different. I'm getting tired of looking at the damn slant routes. Do something different. They did that. I'd give him a B minus, B plus. He threw the ball, like Rashene said, downfield, was wonderful. 315 yards, 2 touchdowns. That pick 6 made me think back to my JV interception I had. I just panicked and threw the ball. I was like, pocket collapsed. That pocket collapsed. Get out of there. He has no wheels. The man has no wheels. And that's the one thing Baker is going to kill you on. He can get out of there and make a difference with his legs. He was like in cement. He's like, just hit me already. I'm going to go down because I can't move.
He also needs a quarterback clock. It's like he's just holding the ball. Like, you need to go ahead and throw that away, buddy.
So do you think he gets a lot of reps? Do you think he gets a lot of reps on Wednesday? Because Ben comes back to practice on Thursday. Okay. It's basically Ben practices Thursday, Friday, Saturday's your walkthrough, which is probably just an hour-long discussion for the most part. Do you think he gets a lot of reps then?
On Wednesday, it should be all his reps. There probably isn't anybody else that gets a rep, so maybe Dobbs gets maybe 10 reps at the most, but he should get them all. I mean, I can't imagine he doesn't,
Yeah.
The only bad thing about him doing so well is Steelers going to be like, he can slide into that. And I was like, no, don't.
My thing with him is, and then I'll give it to Watson, but my thing was he does have heavy feet. He has heavy feet. Now, he did get out of that pocket a couple of times, which is amazing that he did this. If you noticed, he went to his left and threw the ball. He never rode himself to his right. And I don't know if that was designed to flush him that way or if that's just because L's that shitty now in his pass protection that he has to get out of there because L's guy is coming down inside hard. Okay. I mean, it just.
He's getting blown up.
Yeah, he is. He is. L gave us everything he's had for years, but wow, the last month or so. All right, Watson, share your tidbit because I know this is what you want to talk about.
No, he proved to me yesterday he could be a good backup in the NFL. That's what he proved to me yesterday. He is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Did he have a good game? Yeah, sure. That's what he did yesterday showed me that is what you want. If a guy goes down, you come in and play. That's what we want. That's what he showed us. He is heavy on his feet. As far as pocket presence, there is none because he doesn't he just holds on to the ball way too long for a guy that can't move. And you got to if you're going to hold the ball that long, you better be able to either slide, you better be able to run, you got to do something and not take the sack or get panicked and wind up throwing the interception. Yeah, you got a hit in the head, but that ball should have never really been thrown.
Right.
So, yeah, he did okay. I mean, I'll give him a B for the game, but like I said, I'm giving him a B as a backup quarterback. If that's my starting quarterback, I'd have to drop him to a C because he threw that interception. And to be honest, that interception, that was the game.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Right.
Not in that situation, not at that time.
So the special little thing that you like, I know where you're referring to. Go ahead with it.
That's my man Dobbs.
Yeah.
I don't understand where in the hell has that been all year long?
He doesn't dress.
On the bench.
That's my point. Why are we, what are we doing? That is a weapon that every team has exploited on us and other teams. We have it over here on the sidelines, and we're not using that. That, to me, that's a game breaker. You can bring that in on 3rd down and 1, and instead of us passing the ball on one of those slants that we do that we know is going to be incomplete, you bring him in, and now guess what? The defense has to hold a couple seconds one way or the other. They can't go guessing on what we're doing now. And he has the ability to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He started in the NFL before.
Yeah.
He's played downs in the NFL. What are we doing?
Ramon Foster was all over that yesterday. A lot of people were putting it out there about, you know, his runs and how effective they were. And Ramon Foster said, you know, let the guy throw because he can throw too.
Yes.
He can throw the ball. You know, take a look at Indianapolis. Jacoby Brissett. He gets like 6 to 8 plays a game, maybe 10 plays a game. They're all by define. This is the type of situation we need to be in for you to come in. And oftentimes it's for him to run, but he does make a throw here and there once he gets in. I think that he should be dressed.
Absolutely.
If Tomlin doesn't
playoff games, I might lose my mind.
If Tomlin doesn't,
even like Rashene was saying about, you know, you're being predictable and you're telling everybody your tendencies with the tight end. So what, like Kevin's saying, if we have 3rd and 1, I would enjoy seeing Dobbs under center or, you know, in the pistol.
And you go 3rd and 1, you can have your 2 tight ends out there with Dobbs in there. And guess what you can do now? It could be a run or it could be a pass to those tight ends. You got a guessing game that holds the defense for at least a second and gets your lineman in position to be able to make the block.
I want to think that, and this is just me talking out loud, I want to think that they learned from that situation, and he's going to have to not dress one of those, you know, whatever, one of those extra running backs. Let him sit, you know.
Let him sit.
Let him sit. Go ahead and dress him. Maybe not for Cleveland this week, but going into, if they get by Cleveland, going into Buffalo or the Titans, definitely against Kansas City, who, quite frankly, guys, again, I think him against some of those teams really throws a wrench into the works, honestly. I mean, I love the fact that they did that yesterday, and I don't know why it took them so long. And that's why I said, go back to freaking Jalen Samuels. If you're not going to use McFarland in a really authentic way that he's designed to play for you, bring Jalen Samuels in. Let him run the stupid Wildcat too. Okay? The more weapons, the more creativity you put on that field. Last night I saw who was it? Was it the Redskins or Philly? One of the two. I think it was Philly. They did the old end around, try to throw the ball downfield thing. And I'm like, where'd that go? We used to have Randall Eldon would throw that. You know, we've always had a guy who can make that throw. I guarantee you there's a guy on that Steeler roster who can make that throw. And it doesn't have to be a 50-yard bomb. You know, it just doesn't. So, all right.
I got to think. I got to think, okay? These are professional coaches. I got to think they know this, right? I mean, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to assume anything, but, and you've said this before too, have they been holding on to this stuff all along? I'm just saying, have they been holding on to it? Right?
I want to.
If you hold on it too long, you're not going to get to the dance.
I want to agree with you.
Yeah.
You just don't know. I mean, at what point does Tomlin get pissed off and say, hey, Randy, if you ain't going to call the right place, I'm going to give him to somebody else. Go sit the hell down. You know, I mean, at what point, you know, or at what point does he say, stop calling plays, Ben, take over?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm just saying, like, you know, of course, like I said, we don't know the ins and outs, but it's like we're just regular people just sitting back watching the game, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
you got to be able to see that. I mean, I have a 16-year-old daughter. She can see that. And ask me why they don't do that all the time. And I got to go there like this.
Yeah.
So
I got that emoji all the time going on.
Yeah, but the thing with that is, and that's what I was asking you guys, because like the first couple of weeks we were throwing the ball deep, at least not deep, but mid and deep. And then we start throwing it just 2 yards. Like, is his arm tired? Is it, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. And then like with the Colts game, we come out in the second half, throwing it down the field. I'm like, why are we waiting to do that?
Yeah.
I made two observations recently. Again, I listen to a lot of sports talk, and I was listening to John Clayton the other day, and John Clayton, he was asked about Ben and all that stuff. And he said, watching Ben in that 3-game losing streak and how he reacted to that, he really thought that Ben was at the end. And then he said, watching him the second half of the Indianapolis game, he was a total different quarterback. It's like he flipped the switch and just kind of got it together again. And he was able to execute. And they said to him, which Ben is going to be around for us? Is it going to be the guy that leaves after this year, or maybe hangs around for next year to get paid? Or, and Clayton said, I believe it's going to be the Ben that you saw the second half of the Indianapolis game, and he's going to get a 2-year extension beyond this. Because he looks pretty fresh, he said. And the other observation I made, and I shared this with Watson, was that if you watch the throws he made in the Indy game, he was stepping into his passes and delivering the ball. He was not coming off of his back leg. He was delivering the ball with authority down the field, which leads me to believe that they were covering up something with the knee, saying, no, it's not the knee. No, it's not the knee. But it had to be. I'm not questioning the arm strength at all. I'm questioning where the mechanics of the delivery, including the lower body.
Well, prior to that, that's a one-step, if that, those quick slants, 1.2 seconds, getting it out of his hand. He's not taking 3 5-step drops to throw a slant. So yeah, definitely. He's getting back. He's getting coverage. And I was wondering, do you think that the intentions of that was not to save him and his arm, but because the line was doing so crappy and they just needed him to get it out quicker, they couldn't provide any pass protection.
Right. I mean, they were talking about Kansas City, and they're not much of a running team in and of themselves. They were early on with the young kid, but then he got hurt, and now it's Bell, and Bell's really not ripping the league up like he did. He has a certain style he needs to have up front, and that just doesn't develop after a month of practicing 2 days a week. But they were saying how, they throw the ball downfield, even though they throw the ball a lot. They don't dink and dunk. He's going, I think they said he throws the ball an average of 8.2 yards per play. So they're, he and Aaron Rodgers are the guys that are throwing the ball downfield the most, getting the most yardage. Let's change gears here a little bit. Hayden out, supposedly going to be out for this week. The COVID thing. We really don't know what's going on with Hayden. They're not really saying a whole lot other than the fact that, he had the COVID thing. And the one guy I wish I could see, because I didn't get to see him play against Indy, was this Cassius Marsh. I'm really interested in seeing him play some more. Yes. He might be a wild card on this team because he's bounced around and got some playing time, but he was out last week for close contact, supposedly Ebron. But where I'm headed with this is Justin Lane. He looked like garbage. He stood out as a weak link in that secondary. I hope the Steelers look to invest in a defensive back, especially at the corner. Anyone on the downside, anyone on the D side of the ball, I mean, it's loaded and they've got a lot of solid backups, but when you get down to him, he looked lost out there a little bit yesterday. At least in my opinion, he did. I felt like their passes that they did hit, they were hitting near him. I saw him doing some chasing. I don't know. Rashene, you got that look. Let's hear it.
I seen him get lost once when he turned around and misplayed the ball. I didn't see him I'm not seeing everything that y'all were seeing. I missed all that.
You want to see Artie Burns back? That's what you want to see.
Man, Artie Burns. That's all. Artie Burns. All right. I mean, it's not like he's getting. He was getting his feet wet. It's not like he's been getting a lot of playing time out there.
I never heard Cam Sutton's name yesterday. Did you guys? Never one time.
Not one time.
I did when he got lost. When he got lost, I heard him say his name, and that's when I said, "Oh shoot, what's going on?"
I heard
that could have been a coverage thing. I think I think that might have been, I think they were all confused back there. And I think that's also, if I remember correctly, Fitzpatrick was he was going hitting like this or whatever, and he was mad at something. And I think it might have been a coverage issue. I think that's what was going on there. And again, you're playing with guys that haven't played, so your communication is probably not where it needs to be. And, just to go off that communication, I think they were probably doing things, to be honest with you, very vanilla yesterday. Also, to add, especially in the secondary, there wasn't anything tricky going on back there. So that kind of concerns me a little bit. When we talk about Lane, I don't think it was nothing tricky.
No.
So I don't know, I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't see Mike Hilton at all yesterday. I think his snaps were minimized.
I think that was by design, I'm sure.
Did you miss Terrell Edmonds yesterday?
Well, I had one of my questions, and I had this question for you, Maradei, and especially for Rashene, but I already know his answer. Number 21 or number 34 for the start next week?
Sean Davis gave that dude a concussion, man. He gave that dude a concussion. He strikes.
Number 21 or number 34 for the start next week?
One for me.
You know who they're gonna start.
I know who they're going to start, but who should be starting? I'm just saying, I've been wanting this all year long. I've been waiting for it, for Sean Davis to get on the field. And dude was tackling yesterday. He made a hell of a tackle yesterday, and I was like, oh, wow. Because I can guarantee you, number 34, I'm not quite sure would have made that tackle. I don't even know if he would have been near the dude to make the tackle.
Hey, Sean Davis put the People's Court out.
Yeah.
They had to carry him off.
Yeah.
Okay. So that
dude was playing. He had 6 tackles yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, we can't. So when you say we know who they're going to put out there, why are they going to put him out there, Mark?
Why are they going to put Edmonds out there? Because he will not take a starter's job that he sat on purpose. So, it's like if you get injured, if you're the starter at corner and you get injured when you're healthy, you come back, you're the starter. Okay. That's just the way it's run. That's,
Yeah. And I get it. And I understand that completely, especially with, grown men. I get that. But at the same time, I like what I saw. I don't know.
Okay. So let's look at it from this perspective. Do we want to, next year's the year, they've got to make a decision. Do they want to take Edmonds and give him that 5th year?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to extend him like they can with the number 1 draft pick? Or do you let him walk, re-sign Davis, who's only on a 1-year deal, and Kim to a 2 or 3 year deal? At least a 2-year deal.
Does Edmonds take a pay cut? I'm serious. I don't know. Does he take a pay cut? Can they give him a condo downtown?
Edmonds is not going to take a pay cut. Here's what happens with him. If he gets that 5th year, he gets an astronomical amount of money.
Yes, I'm not paying that.
He gets an astronomical.
There's no way.
That's
no way.
That's the bottom line.
I'm sorry.
Here's the order in the Edmonds house who I would pay that money to. Brother from Buffalo, dad, Farrell, maybe mom, and then our guy. He's terrible, Mark. Come on, man.
I'm not saying, hey, listen, don't throw that at me. Don't throw that at me. He has no coverage skills. When he came out of Virginia Tech, that was the big knock on him.
Yes.
He does not do a good job in getting back in coverage. He gets beat deep all the time, and he's never cleaned that up. What he can't do is cover that tight end. Okay, he does okay with covering that tight end. He does okay with covering that slower back out of the backfield.
Is he the guy? Is he the guy who puts guys in place also, or is that Fitzpatrick? Fitzpatrick does.
I don't know who does it in the secondary right now.
I think we got our answer right there.
I do believe that's the free safety's job. But you got a lot in a future show. I'm going to show you a list of 18, 19 guys that
there's a lot.
The Steelers have got to make some decisions on it, some serious decisions. And I'm not talking, they only have 3 restricted free agents and three or four undrafted, whatever in the heck they're called, free agents that they can give an initial offer to and keep around. They don't have a lot of guys like that. Picking up Avery Williamson, that Wormsley that they got, those guys are on the last year of a contract, and they're going to have some decisions to make. You know, I mean, you could say goodbye now, but they're going to again, this is for the future, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to make a decision at quarterback, even if you win the Super Bowl, which he may make the decision for you, but you're going to have to make a decision so that, you know, down the road, you have money to pay some of these guys. I think the Mike Doc from Sports Podium Podcast said it best. The first thing they're going to be doing is backing the Brinks truck up to TJ Watt's house.
Yes.
You know, you're going to pay him. You're going to pay him. I told you guys, I put this out there today on Twitter. I said, and I tagged a lot of people and it blew up for hours. I said, you know, we need a franchise quarterback for the future. Let's face it. You need a face of this organization, a guy that you're going to have confidence in week in and week out, a guy that's going to win games for you. I don't think Mason has the cosmetic makeup to win games for you. That's just the bottom line. And I said, here's TJ Watt. Next year's his last year on his deal. Okay. If you had the opportunity to trade TJ Watt for Deshaun Watson, would you do it?
No.
Would you do it?
You're asking us?
I'm asking you.
No, and no.
Why?
Because I think you can get a quarterback in the draft if you need to. That making a trade like that, it could cost you more than what you think on not only money, but also in that locker room. I don't think I would be willing, and in the community. I don't think I'd be willing to do that. That's just not my, that wouldn't be my style. Watt is my type of player for me. I mean, he's my type of guy. So for me, it would be a no.
I'm gonna say no, because there's too many guys out there that, like he said, we can find somebody in free agency. I mean, we spoke about Brissett earlier. His name's been thrown out there that maybe he can be the guy to come in, sit for a couple of years and then take over until we get that other quarterback, the other franchise quarterback. But we also touched on this earlier. That pass rush looked so much different yesterday. It's like guys, like Watt, you don't have that kind of time with Watt. So, and if he's on the right, you're going to have to scramble and go to the left because you ain't going to get around that corner. You don't get rid of Watt. No.
Sizzle?
No way. He's going to be the defensive player of the year, double-digit sacks, how many years in a row? It's tough to replace that. I think a dozen quarterbacks, maybe not a first ballot Hall of Fame like we got in Roethlisberger right now, but I think those would be easier to pick up than someone like we have in the skill set. And don't get rid of them.
I'm going to go against all you guys. I pulled the trigger on that trade.
Whoa.
You would?
Yeah.
No.
Yep, I do. And I'll tell you why. I pulled the trigger on that trade. I try and keep Bud around. I got Bud and Heisman.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
I didn't have to.
I had that in my head. If Bud was the
should have went with it. Should have went with it. I try and keep Bud around. I love what Highsmith is doing.
I give him Bud.
Hey, look, Highsmith.
Bud, I give you him.
See, the thing is with Bud, though. Here's the problem with Bud. And Rashene went to this a while back. Bud has a torn ACL. We don't know how long his recovery is going to be. We don't even know if he's going to play with the same force and aggression that he was playing with when he walked off the field. Now I'd like to think he is, but at any given point in time, that changes because of that injury and the length of time it takes to heal that up. I'm either signing Bud to a long-term deal or I'm letting Bud walk. And that's the bottom line with me. I'm not giving him a 1-year deal. And I'm telling you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because most likely guys who have an ACL injury, it takes you a half to a full season to really get back into the full swing of things. And you're watching his replacement play right now.
Oh, he good.
Hey, listen, that kid has had some. I think I read he has 30 tackles already. 30
That kid's
tackles
good.
and 2
9
sacks.
tackles and a sack yesterday or Sunday.
That
Yeah,
kid's good.
he is going to be the player on the other side. And right now he's cheap. He's
He's good.
cheap, and we'll
Yeah.
keep him right there. Okay. But with TJ, I love TJ. I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but I'm telling you, we've had Ben for 18 years.
Right.
I want you to think about this because you're always around for this. The end of the Bradshaw era till Ben came in. Think about the misery. You think about the misery that we suffered through right there.
Well, I wouldn't say it was misery because Neil O'Donnell provided us some joy there for
That was at the end. That was the end of the misery. That was,
I mean, he did, and I enjoyed watching Bubby Brister. I really did. He's a funny guy.
yeah,
I'm
I
being
like this
sarcastic.
out too.
I am being sarcastic.
Okay.
I do remember the misery. But at the same time, I think the Steelers weren't, for whatever reason then, I don't think they were drafting to look for a quarterback. Does that make sense? I don't think they were really they didn't have the feel then of looking for a QB.
Okay.
They really didn't.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, they kept drafting guys from Baylor.
Okay,
they were
on the show. We'll ask Craig Wolfley and Tunchilkin what they were looking for.
Okay, so what they were
There you
looking
go.
for is they were looking for what they did back in the 70s and early 80s to be successful.
Yeah.
They were looking for a strong tight end. They were looking for
Yeah.
running back who can carry the rock 3 downs and catch it if need be. They had that fullback in there who'd lead the way, and then they were powerful up front. Okay. And they still had some of those things, and they wanted a quarterback to manage the game. But when it came down to it, they didn't ever have a quarterback to necessarily manage game. O'Donnell did okay. You're right. He did okay. But the game is different today. The game is different
Totally
today.
different.
Go look at Watson's numbers this year with a freaking horrible roster.
Oh, trust me, I'm not saying Watson's a bad, player. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But I just think you can get one now if you make the right moves in the draft. I think you can get one. I really do. Because if
Most
you're saying, I would be willing to do this then. If you're saying do that, get rid of him, excuse my language, I would give up my first and second to move up in the draft if that's the case. I would do that, especially with the salary cap that we have and we're so tied up.
Okay,
Get rid of my first and second and move way up.
Here's what I heard it's going to take to get up in the draft to get one of the top quarterbacks. A 1 and 2 this year and a 1 next year, because that's what it's taken teams in the past to get way up there. Okay?
I bet you could get away with a 1 and a 2. I bet you could get up to get one of those top 5 guys.
All right, so I'm going to challenge you guys right now. We're going to move on after this, but I'm going to challenge you to start putting together your general manager plan that we're going to come to the table and we're going to break down the off season from everybody to who we're re-signing to who we might like outside of the organization and free agency and how we want to draft. Okay.
All right.
I'm going to challenge you. You're the general managers. We're going to come back sometime in March or April, and we're going to break that all down. Each one of us is going to have our own say-so in it. Okay. That's where we're going to go, but you can start looking now. And I can assure you things are going to change all over the place. I just read another article about that kid from BYU has bad character. The parents
I read that.
nosy getting up in his business, stuff like that. Like, you want that kid? You got to think about that. Now, that's the first time I read it, but that doesn't mean it's not true. So, all right, Young, give me your stud and your dud of the game yesterday.
Oh, definitely stud. Well, I got a 2 studs. Definitely Alex Highsmith, 9 tackles, a sack. He's setting the edge. He's causing havoc. He's bringing pressure and helping out the teammates. He's taking on double team. He was doing phenomenal. But you can't excuse Matthew Wright. Guy, he looks like he's 16. He's in there. His helmet's all shifting around. My God, he 3 for 3. They put him out there at 46 yards. I got through the net. I even touched the net. I was excited for him. He can't kick the damn ball in the end zone on a kickoff, but he stepped in very nicely for Boz.
Yeah.
Duds, the duds, definitely the running game. I mean, even though they finished with 85 yards, happy with that committee, we can't excuse the duds of the running game. That would be mine.
Watson?
All right. My studs, definitely Highsmith. No question about it. Dude's going to be good. I questioned the draft pick when they did it. Didn't know who the kid was, anything like that. But I tell you what, he made me a believer yesterday because he was balling. He was balling yesterday, no doubt. My other stud is Claypool. Dude came up yesterday. He showed me, okay, here we go. Dude can catch the ball deep. And like you said earlier, if you throw it up there, it's a 50-50 ball. It's either he's going to catch it or he's going to get a penalty. It's one of the two. So let's start using that kid like that. It's okay. And then as he said too, I'm a special teams guy, the kickers. I included both of them. Obviously the kid that looked like he was 12. I mean, he stepped right in there, made the kick, boom. And then the punter, he had 3 kicks for an average of 43.3. 2 of those were inside the 20. All right, he had one that was a 56-yarder. Gotta like that. You gotta like that. Then on the dud side, I gotta go Vince Williams. Where was he at yesterday? Did he play? Did they take him out? Did I miss something? He had 1 tackle yesterday. That was it. 1. Like
I think that was prescribed for him though. I do think that he's coming off. I read and heard talk this week, and a lot of the defensive guys, they did not want to overwork.
I get that.
He's a guy who's just coming off the COVID list, and he must have had COVID because he was out for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So maybe
And I'll give him that. But shoot, he should have had at least 3 or 4 tackles on the first series they had because they just ran the ball up the middle. He was in there for that. Where my linebackers at? Where they at? And then I went with the running backs, but I did this with the running backs though. I said Snell and McFarland. Those 2 were my duds because one, like I said before, Snell has to get 10 carries in order for him to get good. If he does 10 carries or less, he's not going to do anything for you. And McFarland, they're just not using the kid in the right way. I don't know why you're trying to run him up the middle. It ain't going to work. I mean, I get it once in a while to keep the defense honest, but how about a screen? Hell, bring out the old toss, baby. Let him go get the corner. Outrun.
Not letting him be in the slot and getting the jet sweep like they ran that on the Steelers to score their game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, let's get creative with that kid, and get him in the game plan. That's me.
Okay, real deal. You're stuck.
I know y'all are not gonna like my stud. My stud is Mason Rudolph. You know what I mean? Listen, ho. See, look, Watson chose Claypool. Without Mason, there's no Claypool.
I'm on board.
Can't do that.
I'm all in.
That's my only stud. Okay. I got a list of duds. Ready? All right. Both tackles, Chooks and Villanueva. Woohoo, man. Bad yesterday. Bad. Those 2. My man, James Washington. Did y'all see the pass that they threw and when he tried to make a play?
Yeah.
And he was at the goal line. This fool was standing in front, and he did like this. Like, what you supposed to do like this? Not like this. Like, come on, man, you in the NFL. How you don't know that? Yeah, right there. Duds. Dud.
I don't think he had 1 catch yesterday.
No, he didn't.
In 4 weeks, I think he's had 3 catches.
Both balls thrown him. Well, those
limited action too, but
those came from Ben.
Right. Ben
came from
like
Ben. Yeah. So my dud. I'm gonna do this backwards. My dud is Ray. Where is that dude?
I tell you what, Ray is good on kickoffs. He's been struggling on punts here lately.
He's struggling on kickoffs too because he's not bringing the ball out. Where's Ray Ray? Okay.
He's good at doing this, you mean, Watson?
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of that.
He's running the jet sweep. They ran him on a jet sweep twice yesterday for like a minus 10 yards.
Oh,
I don't know why
Alabama.
he's running the jet sweep. That's a whole nother issue.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Now my stud is Kevin Dotson. I like the kid up front. The kid's a road grader. He came into the league known as a road grader, but he had 0 quarterback pressures again yesterday. I think I read that he was the highest. I read a lot, man. I read a lot. I don't know how, but I get to it. He was the highest graded offensive lineman in that game and one of the highest graded linemen in the league yesterday. He's doing a phenomenal job. And remember, he was what, a 3rd round pick for us? Something like that, out of like what, Louisiana or some
Might have been later than that.
You know, yeah, he might have been a 5th rounder. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Oh, he was a split 5th rounder. We had 2 5th rounders. He was one, and Carlos Davis was the other.
Yeah.
It's a good draft. I'm gonna tell you what. This is
That draft was good.
last year's draft was a productive draft.
Yeah.
So we've had 2 really solid drafts come out of there. All right. Trying to decide how I want to do this. Let's talk about the other games before we do the playoffs. Okay. And I want to start with the Ravens. All right. And I don't want to talk a lot about these, but I do want to start with the Ravens. They had 404 yards on the ground yesterday. 404 yards. That doesn't scare me, guys. That does not, I'm sorry, that doesn't scare me. They ran for 404 yards on the ground. The quarterback had a big chunk of it. Dobbins had 170 or 180 yards. Okay. You're playing the Bengals, who, yes, I know the Steelers lost to the Bengals. I get it. But if you can't throw the ball for any efficiency in the playoffs, it's like everybody keeps saying, if you can't run the ball in the playoffs, you can't win. These guys can't throw the ball for any efficiency. I don't know. Am I wrong?
How many touchdown passes he have yesterday? I think he had 3 or 4.
Did he? Was he at the 5-yard line?
I tell you, no, because when he gets to the 10, he tries to run it in himself every time on 1st down, by the way. Now, I don't know where they came from, but I do think he had like 3 or 4.
Okay. So, yeah.
No,
All
he
right.
had 3.
I'll take –
had 2 and
3.
Had 1.
Yeah.
I still don't buy it. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. I don't think he's a passing quarterback. I am not as scared to play them as the rest of the league thinks everybody should be to play them. I'm not. I'm really not. Thoughts?
Well, obviously, with them running the ball like they do run it, what opens it up is actually Lamar Jackson, who opens that run game up. I think the Steelers have the perfect game plan as far as trying to shut that down, because not letting him run, then who's getting the ball, everybody else. So shutting one of them down is key. But obviously, if you can't shut either one of the run parts of that run game down, then you're in trouble. And that's why you end up with 404 yards. But you have to be able to shut at least one part of that game down. And I think shutting him down then makes him frustrated because he can't now run the ball. And now when he goes to pass the ball, you see the result of that, which is him struggling.
Rashene? Thoughts?
So what's Tennessee doing this week? What are they doing there?
They're going to keep Lamar off the field.
404 yards.
Pound. They're going to pound.
They're going to keep him off the field.
I understand what you're saying. It's one-dimensional, but if you can't stop the rush, are they going to be able to stop it? They barely won that game. They dinked it off the upright.
Yeah.
Now that's how the Steelers beat them, because they dinked it off the upright. So both ways there. I think the Titans be close.
I think it's a great matchup. I think the game will probably last maybe an hour and a half. Both teams will want to run the ball, and it's a matter of who can run the ball the best. As you saw the last time these two teams played, it came down to the last, basically went into overtime, and Henry took over and just ran folks over.
Speaking of Henry, he had 4 200-yard. He's had 4 200-yard games in the last 20 games he's played. He had a 2,000-yard season, and he is only the only other guy. There's 2 other guys. One guy's slipping my mind, but 2 other guys, Barry Sanders and somebody else, have 4 200-yard games, and Barry Sanders had those 4 200-yard games over the course of his career. Mm-hmm. So think about that. This kid has had 4 in 20 games. Sanders have it over the course of what do you have, an 8-year career? Sanders?
Something like that. Yeah, it wasn't long.
He wasn't long, no. So that, is Henry gonna be a Hall of Famer?
I'm not gonna go there yet.
If he keeps up the pace he's at, yeah. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there yet though.
Adrian Peterson and O.J. Simpson have 6 200-yard games.
Okay.
And then Derrick Henry at 5.
Why aren't you going to go there, Watson?
Huh?
So you're not going to go there yet? Why not?
No, because a running back's career could be over like that. ACL, he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how fast the running back's career is over. And if it ended, let's say they played this week, and then God forbid, knock on wood, a kid gets an ACL, I guarantee you, Derrick Henry's done. Especially as big as he is.
Right.
Nah, he done.
Larry retired. Larry Fitzgerald, after 17, 18 years in the league. What's he going to be remembered for?
Getting shafted at the Heisman Award ceremony by Jason White.
Who?
Jason White.
I think his work ethic.
Yeah.
His work ethic.
That's what I was going to say. His character.
Dedication to the one team, community service, being a teammate.
Is that going to cause Arizona to take a step back?
No, he didn't do a lot for him this year, to be honest with you. I mean, like I say, not do a lot, but I mean, he wasn't their main feature guy. And to be honest with you, I don't know if he quite fits that offense. So I think it was probably the best for him to do that, and especially if you don't want to play for another, franchise at that particular point in your career.
He did some great things at Pitt too. I agree. He got shafted from the Heisman that year. Hey, some firings today. Adam Gase, as we all expected, but this one surprised me.
Yeah, I know which one you're gonna say, and it's wrong.
Anthony Lynn. Okay,
yeah, that's wrong.
4 black head coaches in the NFL.
Wrong.
He gets fired. He has a 33-31 record in his time with San Diego or Los Angeles, whatever. Okay. His team was injury riddled.
Oh, and they've always been like that.
And he's really brought
the freaking coordinator of your conditioning program. That's who I would have fired.
He's really brought that Herbert kid along. Like those guys loved him. They played for him. At the end of the year, they were playing for Anthony Lynn. I agree with you 100%. That was
last 4 games.
How many games did they get blown out in?
Well, they lost how many games by just 1 point?
Exactly.
I think they lost like 6 or 7 games just by 1 score.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't know if it was 1
that
point.
tells you the guys play for you.
Yeah.
They play for you. That's ridiculous firing. That is ridiculous.
I mean, with me, it's the same thing, kind of like we were talking about with the quarterbacks. It's like now, of course, they're mentioning all these young offensive guru guys that never pan. I think only one has panned out. I think, right? The guy at the Rams. The rest of them never pan out. Guys from the Patriots, they never pan out. It's time to give other people a try, man.
Yes. And
I don't care if they're white. I don't care if they're Spanish. It's just other people's a chance.
And look at the Flores kid down in Miami.
Yes.
Look at him. I tell you, the top guy. If I was an owner and I was going to hire somebody, I'm hiring Eric Bieniemy. Yep. That's my number one choice. It really is.
Should have had a job last year.
Yes, he should have. And he had the carpet pulled out from underneath him, to be honest with you.
I heard that he doesn't call the plays. Is that not true?
He's the offense coordinator. What do you mean?
He's the play caller.
I heard that's what I was hearing. I just read that somewhere. I had to look that up. But
yeah,
I heard he didn't call the plays, and that was what was holding him back. That's just what I read.
He designed a hell of an offense.
I mean, yeah.
That's a
Oh, I
very
agree.
that offense is creative as hell. He's got the weapons, so you can do that. My last thought before we get into this playoff thing, going back to last night, the final game of the regular season, Washington and Philadelphia, which was a joke in and of itself. We had to watch that last night. What did y'all think about what Peterson did? If I was the Giants, I would be irate. I would be just beside myself. If I was Lurie and I saw my coach throw a game like that just because he apparently, and I'm just speculating, he doesn't want to see the Giants in, so he throws the game. I mean, come on, really? I don't know.
I think first of all, the Giants, they made their bed. They have to lay in it. Don't wait for someone else to lose or win so you get in. That's on them. And just for, Eli and all the other Giants players tweeting out stuff. This is ridiculous. What are they doing? This is why we hate Philly and blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's ridiculous. But to see him throw a game, I was watching and listening, reading today. I was like, people were saying that might be the first time they actually realistically saw a coach do something deliberately that clearly to throw something so that they could move up. And they're only moving up like 3 picks.
That's big 3 picks.
And for them, it is.
Big 3 picks. That's number 6 pick. That's a big deal.
But, if it was Lurie, he upset, yeah, but he probably knew what was going on.
I think that's sportsmanlike, even if you're just moving up for 3 picks, honestly. I mean, go ahead, Watson. Break it down.
With what he did yesterday wouldn't have bothered me so much if at the beginning of the week or at the end of their game from last week, whatever it was, the dude came out and said they're going to play to win the game. You can go back. You can probably find it somewhere. And I'm telling you, nobody's probably peeped this out yet, but dude said that. That's what bothers me the most. He said they were playing it to win. That's what he said at the beginning of the week. Nobody's come across that yet. He said it. And if he hadn't said that and he did what he did yesterday, I'd be like, okay, whatever. You do what you do as long as you got your owner's permission to do it. He said it. I'm telling you.
Yesterday in the post game, he said in the post game yesterday, they came out playing to win, and he thought that this other guy.
This is before he sat all those players. This is even before all that. At the end of that game they had against Dallas, they were playing it to win because they were playing the spoiler role, as he said. I'm telling you, you got to go find it somewhere. There's a link out there where that dude said that. And that's where I have an issue.
Why'd he sit all his starters?
Exactly.
He sat guys. He said it on Friday.
He sat them all. And that's what I question.
It's the last game of the year. Who the hell cares?
Who cares?
Paycheck.
Who cares?
They go and get their surgery. They got the off season. Who cares?
And I'd be interested to see what his players think. That's what I want to know. What do they think? Did they agree with that? Are they okay with that? I don't think Jalen Hurts was okay with that, by the way. I saw his facial expression. He looked pissed. Now, granted, he was having a terrible game, but, dude, at the end of the game, you still had a shot to win.
Is he a number 1?
Who's that?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was. No, was he?
Yeah.
Is he a number 1?
He's a number 1 quarterback.
Number 1.
He's QB1. Because
Yes.
he was a second-round pick, right?
He's a QB1. He's a QB1.
Okay.
I'm telling you, he's a QB1.
What defines him?
In today's NFL game where a quarterback can run and he can pass. He gives you those 2 options, and he's pretty efficient. Obviously, that's his 3rd game starting. I mean, I can't put that against him. I mean, it's whatever. But he went from Alabama, where he couldn't pass the ball worth crap. Then he went to Oklahoma. Dude learned how to pass the ball.
Lincoln Riley.
And yes, and you put those 2 together, to me, that's a dangerous combination. That's what you want the kid from Baltimore to be able to do. He's better than the kid from Baltimore because he can do both, which is scary.
Think Lincoln Riley should get a shot in the league? Is he the kind of guy you guys are talking about?
You mean as coach?
As a head coach, aside from a minority candidate, is he the kind of guy who can come in and be successful in the league?
I worry about those college coaches coming to the NFL. It's hard to tell a pro guy what to do. It's hard.
I think
Like
Urban
you said
Meyer.
at the beginning with Canada. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Urban Meyer is supposed to not only get the head coaching job, but the GM job too, is what I heard.
I ain't heard it.
It won't work.
Where's he going?
Jacksonville.
Yep. Jacksonville. Yep.
Yeah,
They
won't
fired
work, by the
Marone.
way. That won't work.
They
That's
fired
pretty
Marone.
fast. See, that's what I don't like. That was pretty
Yeah.
fast. They just fired dude this morning, right?
Yeah. But the Urban Meyer thing has been infiltrating the airwaves for about a week now. And one of the things is they're concerned about his health. Is he healthy enough? Because remember, he left Ohio State because he had health concerns, which I think it was something beyond health concerns, but dude's a snake anyway. So Watson, let me say this to you. If you had to redo the draft and you had your choice of Tua, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, what are you thinking about there?
Oh, I'm taking Justin Herbert. If that's the case, I'm taking Herbert. Oh, that's a no-brainer.
I've said this many times to people. I may have even said it to you guys. There are guys that I always target every year. When I did my preseason picks before the draft, who I would like to see the Steelers grab, Justin Herbert was the guy on my radar. He was the guy on my radar. I actually still like Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz in a lot of ways reminds me of what Tannehill became down in Tennessee, but with stability in the organization in Pittsburgh. Okay. And the other guy I liked coming out of college that a lot of people poo-pooed was Josh Allen. I really liked him. Those are three guys that I wouldn't mind wearing the black and gold for the next 10, 12 years, replacing Ben, to be honest with you. Obviously, two of them, it's not going to happen. And Wentz, I heard today, he doesn't even talk. He and Peterson don't even talk. Like
I wouldn't talk to dude
They
either.
don't talk at all. He is done there.
Yeah.
He is done there.
Problem is his contract. We can't afford him. But yeah, I'd like to see him in. There's no doubt I'd like to see him in Pittsburgh.
The Eagles can't eat none of that.
Well, what would happen
They're
is
going to.
if the Eagles will they do it, number one, and number two, if they cut him loose and he goes on the market, he'd have to pass through every waiver team before he can be picked up by a team like the Steelers, because the Steelers are going to be in the bottom, the bottom fifth of the league, bottom sixth of the league in terms of drafting.
Well, I saw today they said they had no interest in getting rid of him.
Who, the Eagles?
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. But what they clearly said it. I think Collinsworth said it last night, if I remember correctly, that he and Peterson do not communicate. They do not talk. So, and that's another thing we'll take up on another.
Look for a big draft day type trade, something going down on draft day with him. I guarantee you. You can't keep two number one quarterbacks on your team. It's not going to work. They're two alpha males. Your team's not. Who does your team look to? Because you got your guys that like Wentz. You'll have your guys that like the other ones. So then So you can't have that. That's a division in your locker room. That's terrible. So you've got to get rid of one of them.
Right.
There's no way you can have both of them there. One of them's got to go.
Man, it's been outstanding today. We've had some really in-depth, great conversation. Let's do some picks. Let's do some picks for the at least the wild card round this week. We're going to go around the horn. I'm going to give you a game, and you're going to give me your winner. Let's go Tennessee, Baltimore, right out of gates. That's what, the first game on Saturday, right? Am I correct?
Sunday.
Sunday?
Coach
Sunday,
Bills.
first game. Yeah. Let's go Tennessee, Baltimore, though. Terry, who you got?
I got the Ravens. I think they're going to be able to stop the run. I think they'll be able to give it to them, and it's going to be a close one, but I got the Ravens.
All right, Watson?
Yep, I'm going Ravens, 24-21.
Rashene?
I got Titans, man. I mean, Derrick Henry, he's built for January football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If their defense can hold up.
I'm with you, Rashene. I'm sticking Titans. I don't know what it is about the Ravens. I'm just not sold on them. Like, I'm not sold on them as a playoff football team. That's just me, though. Okay, here we go. Let's go Buffalo, Indy. Buffalo, Indy. Start with Watson this time. Who you like?
I'm going with the Bills, 28-21. The Bills are hot, man. They are hot.
They're the hottest in the league, yeah.
Yeah. Rashene, you going with the same?
No, I'm going with the Colts.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
You
What
know,
makes
even though, despite them barely making it to the playoffs, I mean, they have a roster that can do it. They have a defense that's loaded, speedy, fast, and then they got a nice running game. They might be able to control the game. So,
Guy picked up 200 yesterday. That was really nice. Yeah. I agree with you, but I'm definitely going to go with the Bills because Josh Allen, he's in the conversation as MVP. I don't think he's going to get it, definitely, but he's in the conversation. Diggs really helped him out with that, opened the field up.
Montgomery Village, baby.
I think, yeah.
127, 129 receptions, Diggs.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna go Bills only because I think that the quarterback makes the difference in this game. I think if all things come equal, I like the Bills quarterback better than I like Phillip Rivers. He's immobile. He's immobile still, and that is huge in a game like this. And it's up in Buffalo, and you never know if they're going to get some lake effect snow, and that's going to be impactful for a guy who played out in California for years and years, and he's in a dome now, not really fighting the elements either. I'm sure that had part of the reason he actually picked to go there. So, all right, moving along.
So wait, you have the Bills, you said? Because I'm writing this all down. I want to make sure I can solve it.
Yep. I got the Bills. Let's go to the NFC. Washington and Tampa. Washington.
I'm gonna throw. After watching that debacle last night, I think cousin Chase Young and Sweat, the front line, they're gonna get after TB12, make him uncomfortable. He's not gonna get out of the pocket either, but I think they're gonna give him a good game. I wouldn't bet on it, but I'm just gonna go with the Washington football team because I think that they could start up.
Okay. Rashene, what do you think? The Washington football team?
Hell to the Washington football team. Yes, I'm going with the Washington football team. Yep.
Okay.
I think, like you said, I think Sweat, those guys are going to get after that old guy, and they might put him out.
Right. They're fast.
AB will be on the sideline. AB will be on the sideline acting all crazy and throwing his helmet, so.
He had a good game, though, this week, didn't he? Didn't he have a big game this week?
He did.
He
11 catches, 184. 2 touchdowns.
Who they play, though?
Let's calm down.
Who they play?
Falcons.
Right. There you go. Watson, who you like?
Hey, I thought I was going to be the only one, but, I'm making this pick here for my dad and for my brother because they're both Skins fans. So I got to let them know I'm on their side come this week. All right. And I'm going with the Skins 23, Tampa Bay 20. I do think that front line is going to give Brady problems.
But how are they going to score? My thing is, how are they going to score? Alex Smith is a great story. He is, man, what he's come through 17 surgeries in a year, whatever it's been, but they cannot score. But they are get Terry McLaurin back, right? He's supposed to be back this week.
Yep.
Love Logan Thomas. My
Thomas.
God, he is a freaking monster. Okay, but I don't know. Antonio Gibson might be able to run against that defense, but I'm concerned. I think if Washington gets behind it all, if they get behind it all, I don't know if they can climb back in it. They're not playing, they're not playing the NFC least. I mean the East. They're just not. So I'm gonna go the other way with you guys. I'm gonna go TB12 in the Bucks. Just this week, though. Just this week. Seattle and the Rams, a little interdivision battle here. They've already seen each other twice this year. Let's start with Rashene.
I think I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this one. Let's go with the Seahawks.
Okay.
Wilson's gonna make plays. DK Metcalf, he's come on as one of the best wideouts, and he got Lockett on the other side. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
Okay. Sizzle.
I like the Seahawks too with Wilson. He's top tier quarterback, takes the team on his shoulders every time. With Metcalf, defense a little lacking, Rams just not there. I like the Seahawks over the Rams.
KWATT.
I'm going with the Seahawks. I got a score of 17-14 because the Rams defense is darn good. And, you know, as far as I don't know if the Rams QB is going to play tonight. I have no idea. So that concerns me a little bit. I know he had a thumb injury, and even if he does, it's hard to throw the ball with that thumb injury.
Yep.
Real hard.
Yeah, I went with Seattle too. I just think that even though their defense may not be quite as dominating as it was when they were winning Super Bowls and things like that, I still think that in the end they can establish more of a run game and get the ball out quick to Metcalf and let him make plays. I mean, he's a monster with the ball in his hands, and I think he's hard to deal with. All right, let's see. What do we got? Last game of the day, the Saints and the Bears.
Okay.
So I'm going with the Saints. You know, this is Breeze's last year, so they say.
Yeah.
Retirement. The offense is explosive, of course, and then but this version of the Saints relies on like a defense.
Yeah.
They got a nice feisty defense. Cam Jordan, guys who can thump. So I'm going with the Saints.
Yeah. Sizzle.
Definitely the Saints. Breeze fan, big time all the way. Bears, a little disappointing there in the end. Thought they could do something, but I just think the Saints offense is just too high powered for the Bears. And
this is all without Michael Thomas too.
Same thing. Trubisky, he's not gonna. He's a good backup.
All right, KWATT.
Well, he just said it. He actually led me into the pick and the reason why. I'm going with the Saints, 27-17, and Trubisky. He like Mason Rudolph. He'd be a great backup.
Ooh, I want to revisit that. When we get a second. But go ahead.
Okay. He's a North Carolina guy, so we had that North Carolina conversation the other day, didn't we?
He ain't the guy. That other dude, he the guy.
Trubisky, I don't know where he came from though. Like he wasn't the guy when I was watching North Carolina.
No, he was not. No, he wasn't.
Wait. You mean when he played Pitt? He was. Yeah, he was.
He was the guy, but he wasn't that.
Listen,
no.
number one pick in my opinion.
No.
Number one pick.
Let's put it this way: the Bears wish they would have got Deshaun Watson. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I went with the Saints as well. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like you said, Breeze has already announced this is it for him. He's going into the booth after this. Hopefully, he's better than Romo when he comes to doing Steeler games if he ever does that.
Or Collinsworth.
I like Kamara. I think they're going to have a heck of a time slowing down Kamara, to be honest with you. They have a bunch of skill guys all over the place on that offense, and Breeze makes it work. It's just amazing that the guy's 6 foot and he's hung around to have such a long, illustrious career. And winning one Super Bowl is probably more than adequate for him because they've never really had a whole rack of stuff around them.
And can I just add that because it just made me think of this here. The Los Angeles Chargers. How have they done this? They picked Breeze after Breeze was who?
Rivers.
And then after Rivers is who?
Herbert.
How can you get 3 in a row and still not be that good?
Okay, my answer for you is this. They're never a winning team because they never actually catapult to the top of the totem pole. Okay, they can't get, and when I say that, they always have an opportunity to grab a franchise quarterback because they never get beyond that 10, 11 win season. That's a capper for them. It's always been. They had Melvin Gordon in the backfield, one of the best backs in the league 2 years ago until he got Le'Veon Bell-itis. And that kind of ruined things for them there. I'm sure that's what helped push Rivers down the road. Think about their defense. Derwin Gray, right? That dude is a monster. I didn't hear much about him this year.
Bosa. Yeah.
He must have been, and then Bosa, yeah, it's hard to believe.
Be perplexed.
It's hard to believe.
Ooh.
All right, man, we're going to wrap the show up right here with our final pick, Steelers Browns. Steelers Browns. We're going to start with Mr. Steeler himself. Rashene, break it down.
I'm gonna go with the hometown Steelers, man. I think if we did what we did this past Sunday with those guys, it can only go up with the starter guys. I think we'll stop the run. I don't think he'll have what he does, and I think Mayfield's going to do something silly like he always does, throw the ball and a couple of interceptions here and there. So I'm going with the Steelers, big.
Interesting. Waddy?
Big.
I'm going with the Steelers 23-17, and I'm going 23-17 because I think the first quarter is going to give us an issue because we always come out and we don't do what we are supposed to do, and we mess around, and that keeps the Browns in the game. So then we have to struggle at the end.
Sizzle?
I think, the Browns have a right to be happy and celebrate. They were 0-16 3 years ago, 1 2 and something. They played like the Browns, and good for them because they're just going to go back home. Sorry, because the Steelers are going to knock them on their butt, and they're going to just destroy them. They're going to have a lot more, first stringers in there, and see how it goes from there. This is a warm-up game for the next round against the Bills.
I want to say this. I am taking the Steelers. One of the things I think you got to pay attention to, and this has been lacking, and part of the reason we're not being successful, the Steelers defense has not created many turnovers during the losing streak, the last 5 games. And if they don't create turnovers, the teams are moving the ball on them because they have a bend, don't break mentality. And by having that bend, don't break mentality, they're letting you get points on the board. And by us not putting points on the board, it puts more pressure on the Steelers. But when you cause a couple of turnovers, whether it's a couple fumbles, a fumble and interception, and you capitalize on some of those points like the Bills did, okay, like Cincinnati did with Pittsburgh, it changes the dynamic. Pittsburgh has to go back to the way they were playing early on in the season and execute their defense so that they're creating turnovers as well as getting that defensive pressure with sacks. I definitely think that will start coming around. I think that that's something in the works for them. I don't think you'll see quite as dynamic of a game plan as you want to see this week, but I do think you'll see some wrinkles that are floated out there as needed to win this game. And did you notice they did the flip pass to Vance McDonald yesterday twice? Once out of a fake with the flip underneath it, okay, twice. That's a good play. I love that stuff. Why are we using that creativity yesterday and we're not using it when Ben's at quarterback, okay? Makes you wonder. We're going forward. We're going to find out, okay? We are going to find out. Hey, man, it's been fantastic having you on the show once again, the Steel City Nation Barbershop Crew with T-Sizzle, KWATT, and Real Deal Hill. Don't forget to join us on YouTube for Steel City Nation Podcast. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram, and we are now on TikTok. So subscribe to us, like us, comment. And I'd like to thank my audio engineer, Sean Ankoviak, my video engineer, Angie Ankoviak, my voice intro, Matt Noble, my music intro and outro, Ryan Benton, my artist, Joelle Miller, and Nikki Stewart, and my store manager and website person, Terry Maradei. Don't forget, we're Iron City built here on the Steel City Nation podcast.